Hi, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 25th, 2024 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps this channel out tremendously, and it helps me out tremendously. It gets this channel seen by the YouTube algorithm. So thank you all so very much for doing so. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. We have here the Six of Wands, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly, which I really like. Okay, then we have the Hangman reversed. We have the High Priestess reversed. Interesting. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. We then have the Six of Cups reversed. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Okay, let's move this down. Ooh, it's getting caught on the desk. There we go. All right, and then we have the Two of Cups, and we have the Chariot. So if you have Cancer energy in your chart, if you have Cancer energy in your life, this comes through very powerfully during this time. So being aware of that is going to be super, super important. We are crowned with the Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands is a celebration of the self. It is a seeing of the self, and that's going to be really important here. We're holding our heads up high. We're saying, this is me. This is how I'm moving forward in my life. This is where I need to be. And Aries, what we're really looking at is celebrating ourselves. And this full moon is in Leo. So Leo loves drama. Leo can be a bit of a drama hog. So if you know if you know a Leo and you're like, oh my gosh, they're a bit much. It's like, yeah, they can be. But it's also when you have a perfectly well-balanced Leo, it's like there is this beauty to them because Leo is ruled by the heart. And there's this beauty in connection with others, of being able to be center stage, right? And being able to pull things forward and knowing that they're worth it. So here, that's the energy that we're taking forward. It's like I'm going to move forward, center stage within myself, and I am worth being proud of. I am worth connecting with. I am worth being here on this earthly plane. And with the Hangman reverse, it's going to be interesting because we have the High Priestess here reverse as well. So there's going to be some energy coming forward. It's like we're seeing things differently, all right? But also certain things are going to be hidden from us during this time. We need to connect with our spiritual self. We can be a little bit too into that Leo energy. It's fire sign energy. It calls to us. So that makes sense. We can be a little bit too into that and not really connecting inward, slowing things down, and seeing ourselves, showing up for us. And that's going to be really important during this time to take center stage within our lives for ourselves, but with care, compassion, love, and connection. So that's going to be a really big thing for us right here. With the Six of Cups reverse, this is letting go of the past, but this can also be like we're letting go of the past, but before we let it go, it holds on to us just a little bit more. So being aware of that is going to be super important. We're moving towards the Two of Cups, healing, beautiful love. I do see, for some reason, Aries, I do see a relationship coming forward or a tightening of the relationship that you're in. So that's really quite beautiful. But it's really being honest. It's saying, this is what I want. This is how I'm moving forward. This is what I'm going after. And this is where I need to be for me. With the Chariot, what we're going to see here is we're taking the reins. We're taking the reins of our emotions. We're taking the reins of how we want to move forward. And we're going to see ourselves being very proactive during this time, which ties into the astrology of it all. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Also, the repeat of the number 6, because 1-6 is reverse and 1-6 is upright. 6 is the most healing, compassionate of all the numbers. So just being aware of that during this time, it's that mothering, nurturing number coming forward. We're going to have a hard time nurturing ourselves because the 6 is reversed, right? So we're going to be thinking, oh no, I can't nurture me. And then we're also going to need time, and it's going to be sacred to nurture ourselves, connect with ourselves, move forward with us. So that's going to be very important. We also have a repeat of the number 2. Again, 1-2 is reversed and 1-2 is upright. So 2 is a collaboration number. It is a creative number. So we can have blockages around collaboration and creation, but then we can also have great inspiration from this. So it's going to be two sides of a coin during this time. So just being aware of that is going to be really important. Let's see what Spirit has to say, angels and spirit guides. Oh, and if you're interested in entering to receive a free reading, put a snowflake in the comment box below. A person will be chosen at random and announced on the 1st of February. Do not be scammed by anybody contacting you in the comment box. It will not be me. All information will be through a separate video where the person will be announced and all the information will be there. So good luck to everyone. And if you're interested in purchasing a private reading, a private personalized meditation, or a healing, check out my website, daneharttarot.com. And that's linked in the description box below. So we have here adventure reverse. We might actually be a little adventure adverse during this time. So did I say adverse or reverse? But we're going to be a little bit venture adverse. We're really going to want things to be organized and steady and ordered. And we can find that we get upset with things when it's not just so. So just be aware of that, which I think is really cute with Aries. And I know people might be like, cute, that's not cute. But it is like in Aries, if you think of Aries as a general and you think of that energy about an Aries as that general of like, I need to know where everything is. I need to have everything lined up. I need to have everything in a certain order. That makes perfect sense. So that part of our personality is going to come out. A general doesn't want to be surprised. You want to be able to say, okay, I've planned for these contingencies. I planned for this. I can move forward in this and be very kind of regimented and set in this order. So just knowing that that's part of our energy during this time is going to be really important because people can see Aries energy as, just full throttle ahead. And yeah, when you're learning and you're growing, that is the growing energy of an Aries, very determined, very focused, very, this is what I think and this is how it's just going to be and I'm going to make it that way. But we're going to be a little bit more cautious. We're going to be a little bit more wise, older in our energy and our learning. So just being aware of this is going to be very helpful for us during this time. It's like, oh no, I've seen that trap before. Or, oh no, I get this, type of thing. So just being aware of this, very beneficial. Okay. So let's see what our chakra energy is. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Oh, we have relationships. Yeah. And that's exactly what Spirit said in the very beginning with the Two of Cups, that sense of connection with our relationships, the love that we have for ourselves, the love that we have within this world. And we're going to see that we're focusing on our sacral chakra, not just for creativity, because our creative energy is held there, but so is our sensual energy. So it's also held within our sacral chakra. And we're going to look at our relationships, our, sense of really connecting with our energy of self. It doesn't have to be anything romantic, right? Or it doesn't have to be anything explicit. It is just simply that loving connection with us in this world, with those that we cherish in this world, and really knowing that love is one of the most powerful things that we can ever connect with and ever be a part of. And it moves us then to the energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Oh, goodness. Okay, so it's these two. We have the Ace of Cups and the Tower. Oh, interesting. There's been a heartbreak that we have gone through. And it might be a very early heartbreak of a loss that we had or a relationship like with a parent or a guardian not working out the way that we had wanted it to. So Spirit isn't saying that this is just, a romantic love or a romantic love that's gone wrong, though it can be. We're going to see with the Tower that things have changed. And we're going to need to be mindful of a Tower time. And that's something that shakes our foundation. And it's around love. Now, it can also be, falling in love. It can be being in love. And that it's shaken our foundation, or that maybe we're listening to somebody else's judgment over our own soul's judgment. So do be mindful about this during this time. But be mindful of the Tower, that something is fundamentally changing. It's going to move us forward in a very profound, very powerful way, but in a fundamentally different way than we had expected. Okay. So let's talk about this time, astrologically speaking, and see how everything correlates with the tarot. So on the 25th of January, we have the full moon in Leo. Now we're at 5 degrees, 14 minutes of Leo. And what's really being brought forward is the question of what is this bringing closure to? So this full moon is going to be bringing closure to something. Leo is heart energy, all right? And it is the most linked to the heart, which I don't know if you're like me, you might not have seen that instantaneously with Leo, but it does make sense. So Leo is heart energy, where the sun is in Aquarius, Aquarius is head energy. And there's a linking here between the head and the heart. And what Leo is also the sign of the king and sovereignty. I know who I am, and I know where I was created from. So that energy, it's not talking about lineage or parentage, though it can be, but it is also saying, like, I know my worth. And that's what we're crowned with here with the Six of Wands. I know my worth and I am celebrating myself. So we're going to see something brought closure to, especially around the spiritual or around the connection with our spiritual self, our connection with spirit. And it doesn't mean that we have to become ultra spiritual or religious or anything like that, follow any sort of orthodoxy. What it means is we kind of start to slow things down. We start to connect with our heart and we start to say, what do I love? Love is just one of the most important words for 2024, but love is one of the most important words for life. And we're going to see that here during this time. I know who I am. I'm a child of love, and I walk in love. And that's going to be powerful for us. That's going to be also part of our healing with the Two of Cups and a part of our taking the reins of what we want, how we're moving forward, and what we're going after. Now, we have the dwarf planet Verona conjunct the moon. Now, this is very powerful moral compass coming forward. All right. And this is also very Leo energy as well, which, again, if you're like me, you might not have thought that Leo has this really strong moral compass, but it's moral integrity, truth, and justice. And we're going to see here that lies that are being told are really being brought to the surface of this earth. And the people who have told these lies are going to be held accountable one way or another. So just be aware of this. We again have the dwarf planet Gungkung come forward, who is at 5 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is linked to flooding, so do be mindful about this. We can see this geographically. But this is also the channeler of a lot of psychic energy coming forward. We have the High Priestess reverse. We're looking at things differently again. So it's like the hangman is, I look at things differently. I'm getting used to this different way of enlightened seeing. But here, it's almost like I'm shutting down to this. And it can be because of the dwarf planet Gungkung, where what we are is overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed by the psychic energy that's coming forward. We can feel almost drowning in it. It can be very intense. So just be mindful about this during this time. We're going to have the psychic energy coming down to the earthly plane. We're needing to know how to handle it, how to connect with it. If we can take time in meditation, in prayer, in stillness, it doesn't matter what you call it, but that connection with the God's head that's within ourselves, that's going to be a really important thing. I don't know, I haven't told the story in quite some time, but there is this old parable in a time when there were the gods up in heaven, and it was every great entity was a god. There was a god of Abraham, there was a god of Moses, that type of gods, like these great teachers were called gods in this story. And what we have here is they're saying, where do I hide the God's head within man? And they all ask each other, all these different, figureheads of different religions, they all ask each other. And you might say, okay, well, God is already here on the earthly plane. But, man was already on the earthly plane. But that doesn't really matter to the story. What matters here is that they say, shall I hide it in the highest mountain? Shall I hide it in the deepest part of the sea? Shall I hide it, out in space? And they all say no to all of these options, which were really good options. But they say man will go there. Human beings will figure out how to get wherever and how to overcome obstacles. Hide the Godhead within man, because there's one place that human beings will never think to look. And I found that so profound, just so profound. I remember reading that parable when I was in middle school. I think I was like 11 years old, and it stuck with me. It has stuck with me my whole entire life. And that's what I see here with Gungkung. Gungkung is bringing that knowledge forward, but it's overwhelming because we're not taught that. We're not taught to connect spiritually with this world. We are taught to connect logically, to connect, combatively almost. We're taught that things are a meritocracy. So if I do it, I will earn it. And Spirit's like, connect with your heart, your soul, and yourself and see what comes forward. We have the fixed grand cross. Now, this is between the sun, which is at 5 degrees of Aquarius, the moon, which is at 5 degrees of Leo. We have Jupiter, which is at 6 degrees of Taurus, opposing Hume, which is at 2 degrees of Scorpio. Hume is a dwarf planet. This is enormous determination. This is grit to see things through. All right. And we're going to see here that a lot of the things that have held us back, that made up our childhood or our past, wherever it was in our lives, especially when we stumbled, okay, we can fall into that during this time. But because of the fixed grand cross, we're also going to be overcoming it. We're going to be looking at it and saying, I see you. And I see the holes that I have fallen into in my life. I'm not defined by that, and I am not held back by this. Now we have Jupiter T-squared the full moon. Now this is going to magnify anything that's going on during this time. We can feel this almost from, no, not almost. For those of us who are really moon sensitive, we'll feel it from full moon to full moon, okay? Or from full moon to new moon. So do be mindful, it can be a little bit shorter, right? But there's going to be a sense here of things become more intensified with the Jupiter T-square. And that becomes a theme for till the next full moon or until the next new moon, depending on how sensitive we are. The sun is conjunct Pluto, okay, with Leo bringing this, center stage, creative, see me energy. We're really going to see secrets coming to light regarding people in prominence. So that's going to be a very powerful thing during this time. So just be aware of this. Mercury is conjunct Mars in Capricorn. Now, this is quick thinking, and this is, a very quick mind. So this is very, very good for us. And with Mars in Capricorn, there's also a lot of long-term thinking. But do be mindful, because Mercury conjunct Mars in Capricorn can be a little bit nasty too, especially around anonymity. So around people commenting on the internet, around, anything that has a certain level of anonymity to it, we can still see a heightened hostility. So being aware of that is going to be super important. Venus is quadrant Uranus, which is a volatile energy around money. Be aware of that. Ixion, the dwarf planet Ixion, is at 5 degrees of Capricorn conjunct Venus. Now, again, and we've mentioned this before, we are being asked, are the rules that we are playing by right for us? And that is going to be a really big question for all of 2024. Are the rules that we are playing by right for us? So just understand that and move forward in love. If you want to know if it's right, surround yourself in love, or surround the question in love, and see what answers come forward. Not ego, okay? Because we can get confused with that. When we have the heart leading us, we can go, okay, this is what I really want, right? These are all my emotions. This is what I want. And with Leo can get confused with the heart of emotion and the heart of ego. So just be aware of that. Leo loves drama. Just be aware of that as well. This can be a very drama-filled day. It can be intense. It can bleed over into the 26th. So just be mindful about that. And we're leading to a very electric month of February. So just being aware of that energy is going to be important. So let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Yeah. Interesting. Angels. Self-love. I love that. Self-love. Angels. Fear. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. So what's really interesting here, right, is that we have the full moon in Leo coming forward, and it's reversed. And then we have the new moon in Leo coming forward, and it's in the upright position. So we're going to be more comfortable during this time, Aries, even though, Leo is a drama queen, loves to be center stage, loves to be seen, heard, noticed, that type of energy. We're going to be much more introverted during this time, or maybe introverted isn't the right word, but we're embracing more of the new moon energy, which is setting our intentions, closing our eyes, and connecting with ourselves. So that's going to be very important for us. We are crowned with the 6 of Wands, right? And then we have extremes reversed and be bold and make the first move. So during this time, we're really not going to be falling victim of extremes, one end of the spectrum to the other. We're really going to honor and respect a steady Eddie energy during this time. So just being aware of this is going to be really important. Not falling victim to other people's extremes. We're taking the reins, and people can make fun of us. Just be mindful about this, Aries. They can say you're a bit of a prude, or you're not, doing things the right way, or you're not adventurous enough. That's okay. Let them say what they're going to say. They're going to run their mouths anyway. Stand in your energy, stand in yourself, because it's better to be true to yourself and move forward in that than to fall to somebody else's, demands and then have regrets. So just being aware of this. Be bold and make the first move as you embrace your energy, as you embrace yourself, as you celebrate yourself, and you really look at where it is that you want to be. So here, with the full moon in Leo, it says, don't let pride get in the way. And that's reverse. So Spirit is really saying here, hey, listen, our egos can come forward as they can. We're human. And just be mindful about that. Don't let pride get in the way. We will let pride get in the way for one reason or another. And it's mainly because we're not centering ourselves in peace, because we have peace here reversed as well. And it means that we're looking at things and we're thinking, oh, well, I thought I knew this, but now I'm changing my mind. And it has to be this way, or it has to be that way. So just be very mindful of absolutions during this time, or no, that's not the right word, of things having to be absolute. So there is going to be a sense here of it doesn't have to be absolute. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. We can change our mind. We can disagree with ourselves in the morning and just having, or in 5 minutes, but just having that sense of, let me step into peace. Let me step out of my ego or what I think it should be. And let me step into the energy of healing, love, and compassion, which it's very different, right? Step into the energy of meditation, whether we want to call it the God's head energy or God energy or universal energy, whatever works for you, whatever you need to say, stepping into that energy is going to be centering you, honing you, and moving you forward in a way that is quite extraordinary. You and your loved ones are safe through self-love, through that connection, even though we might not be seeing things as clearly, and even though we might be overwhelmed by psychic energy, and we might know our family is also overwhelmed by psychic energy, like all the information that's coming forward, all the connection. And we need to ground ourselves better. We need to, really embrace that sense of grounding, stabilizing, staying, seeing ourselves. We are safe. If we embrace self-love, if we say love matters, not, self-praise stinks, but, I get to praise myself. I get to love myself. I get to connect with myself, because if I don't, who the heck will? That's going to be important. And connecting with our deeper wisdom, with our deeper self, because we are overwhelmed by it, by the psychic energy that's coming forward on this earthly plane. And our response is going to be to shut down. It's almost like I'm under attack, right? A very Aries response. I'm under attack. I'm going to shut down, and I'm going to, move forward as strategically and logically as possible. And Spirit's like, is that really going to help you out? So opening your heart and looking at what it is that we are afraid of during this time through self-love and compassion is going to be important. Yes, slowing things down and connecting, that's going to be a really good thing. But sitting there and saying, nope, I don't want this, Spirit's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because this energy is coming in, and even though it can be overwhelming, it is going to be beautiful. And it moves us to confidence is the key to success. We're letting go of something of the past. It's going to want to hold on to us, especially where we've fallen, where we've faltered. And it's part of our fear. I'm going to have that happen again, or I'm never going to be able to get to where it is that I want to be, or it's always going to be a battle, or it's always going to be this. We have a tendency to think in absolutes during this time. So again, be mindful about this. Okay. Confidence is our key to success. It's not arrogance. It's confidence. It's believing in ourselves. It's seeing ourselves, and it's moving forward in that honored understanding of us. And here we are looking at our fear. We are looking at the fear that has followed us through our lives. Be mindful of Chiron energy. Chiron is the wounded warrior, and it is our original wound, which I always think of original sin, and it's probably just the original, part of it that connects them. And not to get religious on anybody, but it's like, okay, this is what I was born with, right? So this original wound is this hurt that comes into my life, or comes with me into this incarnation, into this existence, into this being. And this hurt, I'm going to see that every hurt is kind of built off of it. So being mindful about that, looking at the fears that it has caused in my life, and looking at the confidence that it has taken away, and saying, do I always get to be defined by this? Or do I get to redefine how I'm looking at me? Because part of our life mission in this world is to see the original wound, to see the wound of Chiron within ourselves. And we can see it in our charts, if we look. But to see that original wound and say, how do I heal it? How do I not make it perfect? How do I take that imperfection and make it work for me, or make it not define me for the rest of my existence? It moves us then to take time to breathe out. Take time, Aries. We're going to see things again as being very strategical, being very, A, B, C type of thing. Take time just to breathe. Take time to do nothing. Take time not to have everything planned. Take time to breathe out. It will bring to fruition the love that we want in our lives, but also the healing that we need. It will bring to fruition a sense of calm and a sense of balance that is deeply needed and deeply desired within our world right now. The end of a tough cycle is approaching. This is reversed as we're taking the reins. It doesn't feel like an end of a tough cycle is approaching. It feels like we have to use our wisdom. We have to use our knowledge to traverse a fast-moving, highly changing terrain. But remember what the chariot also symbolizes. It symbolizes nobility. Nobody in the ancient world was just allowed to drive a chariot. It was the sign of kings. King Tut was said to have ridden a chariot. Alexander the Great, all these huge figures in history. Well, I mean, you can argue King Tut, right? But all of these really important figures in history were said to have driven chariots, and they were buried with them in their tombs of opulence, right? In the pharaoh's tombs. So here, there's power to it. And there's power to us as we move forward, handling our emotions, seeing ourselves, and showing up emotionally and spiritually for us. So here, it's not the end of a tough cycle, but it's learning how to traverse it more, because we've lived more, we've experienced more, we've seen more within our lives, and we are connecting. And that's going to be a big thing. And that is a big thing. It moves us then to our subconscious spirit message, which is luminous. The moon means a lot to us. We can say that it doesn't, but it does. So just being aware of that during this time is important, that it's going to have a bigger impact on us than we even want to admit. It moves us to our subconscious chakra message, which is forgiveness. This is the heart chakra, opening up our heart, connecting with our love, and forgiving. It's not forgiving everybody else in this world, though we can. It is forgiving ourselves for missteps, doubts, fears, heartbreaks, and pains. And it is releasing a lot of pain and a lot of hurt so that we stand in the power of us, loving ourselves, and truly connecting with us. So it's really embracing forgiveness here. Again, it can be for the outside world. Yes, we forgive those who have hurt us and wronged us. But what we are really doing is releasing ourselves from the chains that are created when we have pain dragging us down. It moves us then to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. This is Aquarius energy. We can find this season of Aquarius to be a little bit difficult. So just being mindful about this can be super important. But also knowing that illusions can come into play. It's not always things being rooted in reality, or it's not always being able to deal with or fight something tangible. It might be an idea of something or somebody twisting, things. So just be mindful about this. We might not get along as well with Aquarius energies, but it can also be, that sense of, it doesn't have to be an Aquarius. This can simply be a person, that twists things, and it can twist our mind. It can twist the way that we are connecting with what we have to handle. And it can make it so that it appears one way to us when in reality, it is another. So just be mindful about this, or appears one way to somebody when in reality, it's not necessarily that way. It's more of a dream, or it can even be a nightmare. So just be aware of this during this time. Not saying that's anything bad. That's not what Spirit is saying at all. But we can make things bigger in our head with that, star energy. It's like it can be bigger in our head, or it can be something in our head, but it's not that in reality. And we have to be aware of that. And that's what we have to be mindful of. Our subconscious tarot message is the Hierophant reversed. So this is Taurus energy. If we're born on the cusp of Taurus, if we have Taurus in our chart, this might not be as harmonious in energy as we'd like, but I'm also seeing, trying to conform more and more, like trying to fit in. And Spirit isn't saying here that you're going to go totally off the beaten path and just absolutely invent or create or, do something that's totally new and revolutionary, right? This is staying pretty traditional, but it is also being astoundingly unique. So having that come together can be quite intense, but it can also be a little bit tricky. So just being mindful about this during this time, because it's almost a sense of like, I have to reinvent something. And Spirit's like, no, you don't. You don't have to reinvent it. There's beauty here as you move forward in this knowledge. So don't think you have to totally change up something, or you have somebody who's like, you have to totally change this. You don't. There's valuable pieces here. You have to construct it a little bit differently, putting things together in a little bit different order than you had originally thought. Or subconscious. Luna message here is conclusions are within reach, protection, and we are protected. So conclusions are within reach is reversed. So we have a lot of questions, but we are protected by the power of this moon and by the insight of our existence and ourselves. So that's going to be really important. There is a sense of like, again, thinking it has to be like this or it has to be like that. And Spirit's like, no, it's going to be a little bit more messy, a little bit more, exciting, a little bit different than we could have ever imagined. And there's a beauty to that. And there's a power to that. So really embracing that energy is going to be great. Okay. All right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony. Aries, may blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless. Bye.